One of the lesser known but potentially quite helpful features in IGEMS is its ability to bring in a CNC file. A couple times a year I'll get a phone call or email from somebody and they've lost their IGEMS file, got deleted somehow, but they still have their CNC file out of the machine. And in IGEMS, fortunately, you can bring in CNC files and reverse engineer things. Tools tab, you've got the NC reader that allows you to do this. Down at the bottom it'll prompt you specify a point where you want to insert your files, so you can just left click where you want that to be, choose your file, brings up a preview window, you can click through it if you want. You can do things like down here there's a mark option if you want to mark things like maybe start points for lead-ins or origin points. So if I click on mark, it'll put a little point there. Come down to here, if I click on mark, it'll leave a little mark at the start of the lead-in point. You've got this arc mode here, which is normally set to auto. It'll try to determine from the i's and j's in the file whether these i's and j's are absolute or incremental. Might get it wrong and you might bring in a file that looks like that initially, and you can use the different choices on the pull down menu and change that until it looks like what you expect it to look like. The rapid box is here if you want to leave the blue rapid lines in. You can leave the rapid box checked. If you're not going to need those, you can just uncheck that. So now we've got our toolpath imported. It's got the lead-ins and lead-outs and tabs and over travel and things like that. Other thing you want to check is to determine whether tool offset has been applied to this and how much. I can use my diameter dimension command here, click on here, and see that this is 8.04, which would lead me to believe that's supposed to be 8-inch diameter, and it's got 40 thou tool diameter assigned to it, 20 thou per side. So we'll want to take that into account when we're recreating our part geometry here. So similar thing on these holes. These are 960, so must be 1-inch diameter holes there, and we've got a 4-inch diameter hole on the ID there. So first of all, let's go ahead and clean this up here. So we can select all that, delete that. Can use on my CAD tab, for example, arc command, center start end, and center point is going to be there, and start point will be here, and end point will be there. So I could go through and delete all those and redo all those, but that might be a little bit time consuming, especially if it's a more involved file than this. So a good place to start would be try the cleanup tool and do a tolerance of say 5 thou and see what that leaves you with. So there may still be some little areas here, so that left little gap there, we'll clean that up. So that might not work so well on this one. So another option would be to just draw some geometries. So if I use the CAD tool, draw a circle here, and we'll do a 1-inch circle. And on the Tools tab, replace feature, it'll prompt for source objects. So this is what I want those circles to be. So I click on this one, and then click on the ones that I want to replace. So now those will be 1-inch diameter circles. And we could do a similar thing for the ID here. In this case here, probably be just as easy just to draw a 4-inch circle there. So center point will be the center there, and 4-inch diameter. And then of course we can delete the original one. And then for the outside circle, center point there with 8-inch diameter, and then we can delete that. And just to double check, make sure I got them right, so that looks good. So now that we've got that, we can go ahead and create our parts. And then if I want to get rid of the residual lines there from the old lead ends, can of course just use my erase command and drag a box around there and get rid of those. And then from there we can go ahead and do what we need with it. So hope that saves you some time in the future at some point. So if you have any questions on that, let us know. Thanks.